Alright guys, let's talk about who actually wants loot from Vaelastrasz the Corrupt, the second boss in Blackwing Lair. So the Belt of Transcendence is the first thing we'll talk about. It's the Priest Tier 2 belt. Healing Priests will want this for their 8 out of 8 Tier 2. It's really strong for them. Firemaul's Clutch is a second option from Firemaul, and it has more raw healing power on it, but you give up 14 Intellect, you give up 9 Spirit, and you give up your access to your Tier 2 set bonuses to gain 5 mana per 5 and 9 more bonus healing and damage. And I would say stick with your Tier 2 belt. It's got amazing stats. You don't need Firemaul's Clutch. Shadow Priests, on the other hand, will not want their tier belt. They will hold off for Firemaul's Clutch, or they can go and grab the Sash of Whispered Secrets from Major Domo in Molten Core. Alright, mages, let's talk about your Netherwind belt, alright? The mages, you're going to want this Tier 2 gear. There is a better belt, though, okay? If you want to play around with your gear prior to 8 out of 8, you could also stick with the Mana Igniting Cord from Molten Core. The 8 out of 8 Tier 2 is not the best in slot gear for mages, but it is really competitive. If you ever have a movement-heavy fight, that 8-set bonus might give you the time you need to get out of the fire without losing DPS. But again, in the best-case scenarios, the Tier 2 is not best in slot for mages. Mana Igniting Cord, really strong, but if you need your Tier 2, obviously no one's going to really compete with you over this other than other mages. It could be really good, could be nice to have. So, mages, you're going to want it. It's pretty decent. Alright, the Nemesis belt for Warlocks. You're going to want this belt, Warlocks. It's nearly identical to the Mana Igniting Cord from Molten Core, and you get access to your set bonuses from your tier gear. It's just a really great belt, really good stats. You're going to want it. Alright, Rogues, let's talk about the Bloodfang belt, your tier belt. Your Rogues, you're going to want this belt. It's a direct upgrade from Tier 1 to Tier 2 for this belt. But the only time you might not wear this belt is if you don't have your aged core leather gloves, all right? If you don't have the dagger, if you're a dagger rogue and don't have your aged core leather gloves, you probably want to wear the Mugger's belt. And you want to upgrade as soon as you can to this belt, but you have to get your aged core leather gloves, right? So if you want dagger skills, use those, but you want this belt basically as soon as you can actually afford it in your gear setup. Okay, Druids, let's talk about the Storm Rage belt. Rest of Druids, you're going to want this. It's got nice stats for healing. The Corehound belt from Leatherworking is a huge healing power upgrade over this. You gain 36 healing power, but you lose 7 Intellect, 10 Spirit, 12 Stamina, and 4 mana per 5, as well as access to your tier set bonuses if you're using the Corehound belt. So I think Rest of Druids, you're going to want this belt. Boomkins, you're going to look elsewhere. The Firemaul's Clutch or Mana Igniting Cord are both really strong contested items. Feral Bears and Cats, you don't want this. Check out the Molten Belt made by Leatherworkers for a decent option, or the Taut Dragonhide Belt from multiple bosses in Blackwing Lair. Alright, Hunters, let's talk about the Dragon Stalker's Belt. Hunters, you're going to want this belt. It is a direct upgrade over Tier 1. That's about all I can say about it. Okay, Shamans, let's talk about the Belt of 10 Storms, alright? Rest of Shamans, you'll want this. If you need to get your 3-set bonus, you're going to want this for sure. If you don't have your 3-set yet, but have 8-set Tier 1, you'd want to wear your 8-set Tier 1, including the belt. And for an offset, you could always look at the Corehound belt. It's a really high healing power belt. Elemental Shamans, you're not going to want this belt. It only has bonus healing on it, so it's not as good as a multitude of other items. You can look at Firemaul's Clutch, Mana Igniting Cord, Flayed Doomguard belt, or the Primalist Linked Waistguard are all good options, with Firemaul's being the best. Enhancement Shamans don't want this. You're going to look for Therazane's Link. That thing is, ooh, so good. Alright, Paladins, let's talk about the Judgment Belt. Healers, you might want this belt for the flexibility of being able to solo stuff out in the world. There's better healing belts. It would be like the Corehound belt, the Belt of the Ordained, or the Whipvine Cord, but it's not a bad belt for healing either. Tanks will want this belt, or the Girdle of the Fallen Crusader. And Ret Paladins will want this belt for Spelladin builds, but Onslaught Girdle is BIS for the strength-focused Ret Paladin builds. Okay, so Warriors, your Waistband of Wrath. Tanks, you're going to want this belt, but Onslaught Girdle is better for threat, okay? So if you're going to get this belt for some, get your tier set bonuses, you're going to get this belt to, mitigate damage. But Onslaught Girdle is the item you want to increase your threat per second. It's so good, guys. It outclasses so much. It's just such a good item. DPS Warriors, you don't want this belt. Onslaught Girdle again. Just so good. So good. And Warriors, you get what gear you want, okay? So, do you need this video? Do you? I don't know if you do. Maybe. Hey, if you're here, thanks. Okay, mages, let's talk about the Mind Quickening Gem. Let's talk about everybody, really. Mages, you're going to cream themselves over this, okay? Mages cream themselves over this. Every other class is just going to stare and watch in envy at this beautiful trinket. I mean, this is insanely good ability usage. Everyone wants this, but only mages can use it, okay? So mages, you're going to want this trinket. All right, druids, let's talk about your Rune of Metamorphosis, the trinket that drops from this boss. This is a pretty decent trinket for what it is. You PvP a lot. This trinket can be a wonderful thing if you're breaking CC over and over again, shifting in and out of travel form, shifting in and out of whatever form, trying to break CC. If you're shifting a lot, this trinket can be pretty amazing for that. For DPS cats with a focus on power shifting, you couldn't ask for a better trinket, honestly. It just falls in line perfectly with your playstyle. You're going to be shifting in and out of form, utilizing your talents and the Wolf's Head Helm to burn through your mana pool for large chunks of damage. This trinket will suit you well. It will increase the number of times you're able to power shift before ooming, therefore increasing your overall damage in the encounter. All right, plate wearers, let's talk about the Helm of Endless Rage. We got this up here. This is a great DPS helmet for strength plate users, but you should focus on getting your craftable but expensive Lionheart helm. Tanks, you might want this as it's just loaded with basic stats. It's all good. Paladin tanks and Spelladins, which are paladins focused on spell power for doing DPS, you would opt for your tier 2 helmet over this helmet. Okay, let's talk about the Pendant of the Fallen Dragon. This is a very good neck for healers not able to utilize Spirit for mana regen due to lack of talents or gear synergy. This is a strong mana regen sustain necklace. Other necklaces to be looked at during Phase 3. You got the Choker of the Enlightenment, and you got the Choker of the Fire Lord in Molten Core. Both spell power options for more spell healing from Molten Core. If you're focused on mana per 5, and I'm looking at you shamans, you're going to want this necklace for the mana per 5 if you don't have the spell power options, if you just need mana regen. There's other things out there for spirit healers, but this is a really nice mana per 5 necklace. Okay, let's talk about the Red Dragon Scale Protector, guys. This is for Resto Shamans and Holy Paladins. You're going to want this. If you want an even better healing offhand, though, you can try the Alterac Valley offhand, the Lay of the Life Giver. But this is a hell of a good shield for healing. You can also look at Malstar's Defender from Molten Core, but this is a really, really good shield for healing. Okay, finally, let's talk about this. It is the Dragon Fang Blade. This is a great dagger. Rogues will want this. Other options are the Corehound Tooth and even the Perdition's Blade. Hunters will want this too. Dual wielding these with the agility and chance is really strong. I would give it to a rogue first if they need it, then your hunters. Rogues should be gunning for the Perdition's Blade and Corehound Tooth as their offhand, but everyone's gear is different and nothing's guaranteed. So rogues, your best in slot is in Molten Core, okay? Perdition's main hand, Corehound Tooth offhand, but if you don't have Perditions, this is a good main hand dagger. But otherwise, I mean, you want it. Look at it. It's pretty nice. It looks pretty sick, too. Dagger Rogues. All right, everybody. That's everything I know about the loot from Vaelastrasz the Corrupt. I want to thank everyone watching and commenting. I uploaded this video a few days ago with a couple mistakes, and some very passionate commenters kept me in line, so I had to take it down. I'm re-uploading it now. I hope everything is good, and I'm sure if it's not, I'll see you in the comments below. Have a great day.